Hey, Dan, I don't know what you can say about the reports and the story from yesterday about the binoculars in the bullpen there. I know Jim Tracy handled it within the umpire and crew there,
right.
But I know you're probably limited. But what can you say about the incident?
Well, they were real binoculars.
we saw that on TV. Yeah, they were real binocs for sure.
Yeah, guys, Kevin, heck, you've been down the field, Jimmy. You've run clubs.
Yep.
I mean, we all know what goes on, and if you get caught, you get caught. And I talked to Charlie. Charlie and I go back to Cleveland years. Charlie told me that they weren't doing it. I believe Charlie. Charlie's never lied to me in his life, so I believe that. Jimmy got very upset because we were told he had the binoculars out there because I think Mickey also handles the catching with the Phillies, but every time we saw him use the binoculars, he was looking at Oliva. And Oliva happens to be our catcher.
Right.
So, the stories just didn't match the explanation, but it's over and done with, and we did what we had to do. The Phillies did what they had to do. They got a great, as I told Charlie, is that they have such a great team. That's the last thing in the world they need to worry about. If anybody should be using them, we should. But it's over and done with. It's nothing more than gamemanship in this game. And we had a series against them a couple of years ago that in postseason where Manny Corpus was pouring something on the front of his shirt, and they thought it was Stickum. And I washed that shirt personally, so I know it wasn't Stickum. It was more slippery than Stickum. These are things that go on in the game. I don't want to make it anything more. I'm trying to make light of it in the sense that, it was an unfortunate situation. Sign stealing goes on all the time. It just shouldn't go on that way if that's what was going on. So hopefully it's behind us. We're not going to worry about it again. And, I think the Phillies know that we play them again. That's something we're going to be on the lookout for.
Well, and just to finish that point, you're exactly right, Dan. We've been talking about, Jimmy and I have been talking about that this morning. There's ways to do it without being so obvious, and obviously that was an obvious situation. I mean, I used to talk about, I was more worried about how my catcher's set up. I could get signs off the catcher by setup and moving too soon.
Yeah.
Whether it be too high on a breaking ball, sitting too low on a fastball, men on base, things like that, than having to try to use binoculars from 400 feet away.
Yeah, and so, it's hard to fathom that's what was going on. I mean, anything can happen in the ballpark. Well, our bullpens are in a sight line where the bullpen pitchers sit up, so they have perfect view to the hitter. And so there's a lot of ways to do things, and we've thought about that. But, I always feel like if you go to those extremes to try to get a competitive advantage, at some point in time, all that crap evens up with you.